I never played my Blackbird.
Yeah, it's funny, eh? Like I was looking over it and I was thinking, boy, there are a lot of pieces I never played, and I felt like I wanted to.
Right? Totally.
Because we cut down from 5 to 3 in each category, I had one that I'd never played, but I thought should have been good. It never worked out. It was the shredder that makes the illusions and doesn't die like 3 times. But then Vulture existed, and it was like, I don't want to make more figures on the map to die.
This is tricky, boy.
It is. It's a heck of a rotation. I'm staring at it the whole time, like I don't know what to do, what to say.
This can be a very different game. It's like there's gonna be a bit of relearning how to play it.
Well, yeah,
now we're getting
or in
closer
some
to
cases,
it.
for some of us, just learning to play.
exactly. It's like, how do we play Heroclix again? Speaking of Heroclix, we're live. And
Boy, that was a phantom one.
Wow.
I didn't even have anything.
I just snuck it in there. I let us all talk. I kind of like this whole talking over the music while we're coming in thing.
Oh my
It's
God.
really exciting. We're live. I am in work from home mode, as you can see. I am joined this week by Tom.
Hello, I am from work at the office mode.
And Mike.
I am from work from office.
And Jay.
From accounting.
Oh man, what a weird time of year it is right now. We're gonna talk about this game that we can maybe occasionally play. It's kind of
exactly.
Thank God for Roll20 time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Roll20 didn't come along soon enough, or just
Yeah.
a long time, whatever.
Thanks for teaching me yesterday, Emily. Damn.
It's tough goings out there, as we can all imagine. We'll go into direct conversation about it because apparently that messes you up in the whole algorithm. But I don't even know where we sit on the algorithm when it comes to HeroClix.
Well,
anyway.
I told you we had that fun algorithm moment where I got a very on-brand ad. I got the Red Bull ad for this channel.
You got a sponsorship that we were begging for. YouTube got paid for that. I didn't.
What do you mean we, Kibosabe? I'm not putting that stuff in my body.
We all talked about how Red Bull should
I
be
like to keep my
sponsoring
body
us.
pure. Pure alcohol.
Oh man! One of the jokes going around is like people working from home right now are gonna start working out, so they're gonna come back to work jacked. Oh man! Tom in the meantime is like beer.
Yep.
All right.
I've already been sitting at home for 4 months. Like I'm gonna
You're
lose my
ready for
mind.
this.
Yeah, you've already got the at-home part. You just need to fill out the working part.
I've been training my whole life for this moment.
There's a bunch of doomsday preppers out in the world. Like, told you. All right. What'd you guys get up to in HeroClix this week, Tom? Do you have anything?
Nothing.
No.
I would have gone to tournaments were they not canceled. That's about it.
Mike?
Emily taught me Roll20 yesterday. We played one game in almost 2 hours because I was like, oh, there were some tech struggle moments. Why is this? Why won't this?
The layers, man.
Yeah.
Wait.
Built on like
That's the
HTML1.
struggle
Give
bus.
him a break.
That's it. So yeah, that was it. That was my week.
And Jay, what about you?
I chose not to die. I chose to be responsible. Is what we were going to have a tournament on Thursday, or was it? I can't remember anymore.
Yeah, there was one scheduled
It was
Thursday.
supposed to be, but then that's like everything was kind of just
I messaged
happening all
everybody.
at once. So yeah,
I messaged everybody. Hey, you guys want to go?
Apparently not.
well, yeah. They went from 4-1. Went from that day saying we're canceling official tournament, but like the play space is open. To today, it's no, we're completely closed, and like everything's So
Stay out. Mike, are you still there? Because you're staying still.
Gotta do the thing.
We
and then the
Turn it off
thing.
and on again.
did you expect him to use a technology that is more advanced
We're
than
back.
the wheel?
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Whoa.
Yeah. We had almost no. We had like Amber and me at Dolly's this week, and I spent most of the time putting HeroClix under their display case. So,
Yeah.
I too played almost no HeroClix. I did go in on Saturday because nothing was going on, and I was kid free for the early part of the day, and did get to try something. Spoiler alert for this weekend, and it was fun. and I am happy. That is
Good.
that is what I'm going to leave it at right now. So that said, I guess we should just get right to these previews. Hey, what do you guys think?
Rock on.
All right. So here we go. Oh, whoops. You guys don't need to see my icons in the bottom. All right. So we start first with Big Barda. The first set of them come courtesy of Clixnexus. So the first 5 cards that we're looking at here. So we start with Big Barda, Apocalypse, Birds of Prey, Female Furies, Justice League, New Gods, Future, and Warrior keywords. To get the Boom Doob travel trait, which if you're not familiar with, once per game, facing teleport when Big Barda uses it. Her speed value is 12, and after resolutions, remove an action token from her. She has special movement power on her first clicks for either dial, and then her last click as well, which is, unless you got an S on your chest, you're useless. Charge, Flurry. When Big Barda uses Flurry and hits with both attacks, she has protected Outwit until your next turn. She has special damage power on the first 2 clicks of either dial. I'll kill you, you demented old gargoyle. Opposing effects can't give Big Barda action tokens or modify her combat value. She flies. She's indomitable. She's either 110 or 50 points. Tom, what do you think of Big Barda?
I like her quite a bit. I think that it's funny. I'm not quite sold on the 50-point line, if only because it seems so easy to outwit and nuke her. Yeah, she can't be perplexed down, which is great. And there's no doubt, like for 50 points, being able to charge Flurry with 2 attacks at 4 damage with 11 attack is pretty sweet. I just don't know if you're ever really going to be able to pull it off. That being said, I feel at 110, you've got a better chance of being able to survive long enough to get in there. And once she's in, she's dealing heavy damage on almost all of her clicks. So I think there's a lot to like, but I don't love her, but I like her. I don't know.
Mike?
That's what I would say.
Mike, and I think we lost your camera again. There we go.
What happened?
I think we lost Mike's camera, but we're back
No,
again. We're good.
I'm here. No,
okay.
you froze on my end. So,
so
anyway.
it was my internet. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, good old Canadian internet. Am I next? I assume I'm next.
Yeah, you're next.
Okay.
Go for it.
I can't really disagree with what Tom said. I sort of lean towards the 50, but it just looks so squishy. It's like one hit, really. But I think I would consider playing her obviously in sealed because there's some good values there, and obviously a charge Flurry with a 12 attack and 4 base damage is pretty gross. You could take out a lot of stuff with that. I doubt I will see her really on the competitive scene. Again, the 50 sort of makes you feel like you might be able to fit her in, but I don't know. I just think, again, there's so much other stuff out there, and but who knows? In the future world of no more IDs, everything's different.
Spoiler alert. All right, Jay.
Yeah, it's a good casual and seal dial, but there's just, I don't know. I just look at this dial and I think about the Thor for 15 points more, and it just feels like, oh boy, what a different game this is. So
Right.
But even disregarding that specific one, it is just, it already feels appropriately. I don't know. I guess it's only appropriately costed.
Right. That's right. That's the
if
problem.
This was 75 points for the full dial.
Yeah.
Different story, but you know.
The problem with this piece is that it's appropriately costed.
That is why it is
shame.
not competitive. But I follow the sentiment. I love it, but I just don't think I'm going to be bringing it to a competitive tournament. But
right.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Mongol, brute, cosmic, ruler, warrior keyword. Welcome to War World. Is his first trait.
That is not easy to say.
During game setup, yeah, it looks fine, and then you say it. And it's like,
Welcome to Wild World.
During game setup, when establishing theme teams, you may treat the brute and warrior keywords as a single named keyword. The arena champion, when Mongol KOs an opposing character that can use Battle Fury or Earthbound Neutralized, after resolutions, roll a d6 and heal him equal to the result. The Black Mercy, Steel Energy, free, choose a character Mongol damage this turn, then choose Battle Fury or Earthbound Neutralized. That character can use the chosen power as long as Mongol is on the map. He's got special movement power on his first 5 clicks at 150 or his first 3 at 110. For the man who has everything, charge and plasticity. He's indomitable. He has just got a regular boot. 150 or 110, like I said, 0 range. Mike, Mongol.
Interesting, very interesting. I mean, I feel like I'm definitely going to play him if I pull him in sealed again, because he's in a super rare slot, and I'm thinking about what else I've legitimately pulled, and he's pretty beefy off the top. I love, obviously, the trait of making Brute and Warrior combined one-name keyword. There's a lot of good stuff there. Jay already mentioned that Chase Thor. I think, is it Eddie Guerrero who has
Eddie
Warrior?
Guerrero. Yep.
So there's already a lot of good stuff that fits into those keywords that wouldn't mind being on a named theme team. But those points, man, it's interesting because we just got so much stuff that was like bargain basement pricing. And that $150 almost seems like, I don't know, almost overcosted in a way with some of the stuff we just saw in the last set. But when you take into account all of those traits, especially the fact that he gives the Battle Fury or Earthbound Neutralize for the remainder of the game, that's pretty gross. I mean, he's got a 12 attack already, so you can sort of really have a good chance of hitting with him. And then combining that with the other trait where he can heal himself when he KOs people with Earthbound Neutralizer Battle Fury. I mean, he's sort of setting himself up for his own good stuff. So it's interesting. I just feel, again, like somehow those points might price him out of competitive. But I have to, again, put the asterisk there because of what I already hinted at before, which is there's a sort of a bit of a change to how we play this game, less off the map and more on the map, So, but I still lean a bit towards, I think he's a bit costed out of the meta. But definitely I'm playing him in sealed, and I think he's a cool Mongol. He's one of the most interesting Mongols I think they've ever made. So, cool with that.
All right. Jay?
The War World trait is really good, and it was the first thing I saw when I saw the preview, and I was like, "Oh, that's really good," because you can do Eddie, Friends of Humanity have Brute, Vulture has Brute. It's all a good combination of stuff, but then the points are just a little way too high considering another Bruiser dialed, no protected really. Like, there's stuff he does, like the Mercy trait, Black Mercy trait's good. And like everything's good. I just feel like when you add together all those traits, it might have point formulated weird, where it just came out to way too many points. Or just being able to heal 6 damage in one shot is quite good, but not if it's something I don't want to play. So,
yeah, I kind of share a lot of the sentiments being passed around on this one. I missed the fact that he breaks through blocking for movement, but that just doesn't combine with the fact that WWE exists for a dial that's close combat focused as well. It's just, I feel like we were spoiled by those, and I see a close combat dial with 0 range. I'm like, I'd rather just throw a WWE guy on. So it really comes down to whether or not this non-named keyword becoming a named keyword thing starts to pick up gas and really starts to make certain keywords better. So will the 110 be worth it? Remains to be seen what we get out of the Warrior keyword in possibly the future, or if we have to dig back and go, what are we not thinking about? In the meantime, next
I just
up,
wanted to throw in one little thing. I don't see how you follow up WWE with close combat dials that just don't have the mechanic. Like, why would I want to play that?
Well, I mean, to be fair, he's invincible, which none of them are. He just has like crazy high values, higher than any of them do. I mean, I think that he's not so outpaced. If you were just playing him against WWE dials, I think that he'd be pretty unstoppable.
Well, sure,
right, but
he's still getting outwitted and blasted from range, right?
I'm talking. Yeah, I mean, like, what am I? I'm thinking about like if I want to build competitive, like I just don't see why this is appealing in the world where I could play Eddie and Undertaker. You can't shoot them. They both have stop clicks, other good stuff. We're getting a whole new wave of wrestlers. I don't know. I was thinking, though, it would be fun if we got Unlimited Class Wrestling Federation and the Fantastic Four set or future, and they did something cool there with those kind of characters. I'd be into it.
I'd be game for that. That said, I do have to remember before we move back to continuing with our previews, there's been a delay added to our videos that I didn't realize, so I don't give people a lot of time to ask questions. If you have any questions for the end of the show, put in capital letters question in the chat before your question so we can see it while you guys are watching. There's a lot more viewers than we usually have right now. I figure everybody is bored and at home right now. So.
It's probably accurate.
As Cardi B said, coronavirus.
All right. So that said, back to our previews. We're on the first of our this week's team ups. It is the Green Lantern. We've seen the Green Lantern before on the show, so there's not much to say as far as the dial, as far as surprises are concerned. So let's talk about the team up. And this one is Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. If one or more listed friendly characters are on the map, Green Lantern and the listed characters gain tiny size, but may still be equipped. If all listed characters are on the map, they and Green Lantern have the Kingdom Come team ability. After revealing forces, you may replace a game's element default card with an alternate card. You can't choose a team. Okay, so if one or more is the thing on this one. Jay, does this change your opinion on whether or not you would play this Green Lantern?
Well, I already really like this Green Lantern, so I'm the wrong person to ask. But assuming I wasn't really into this Green Lantern, I mean, if we're talking the Justice League, I mean, this is a really good taxi for them, as well as other options of barrier TK and stuff. Giving that amazing defense of the Kingdom Come rollout, as well as tiny size, and still getting to equip is really cool. Like, it's all good. And I guess there's nothing really that you're like getting that's awesome to use for yourself with the tiny thing, because he makes himself tiny, right?
Yeah, Green Lantern and the list.
Okay, yeah, him and all of them. Okay, they all turn into the kids.
The episode they all turn into kids.
Yeah, it's just good. The question is really the other characters more than Green Lantern himself. But I mean, I guess if you're playing a Batman and they stealth bust, then he gets a +2 defense instead of being stealthy, which is quite reasonable. Wonder Woman's already pretty good at range generally, so that's like even better. It's probably one of the better team-up cards we've seen so far. It's just a matter of actually putting the team together to use it all together.
Okay. Tom?
I mean, I think Jay covered it. I don't think it's good enough to justify playing that team over a different team, but I think it's a nice little bonus if you're able to pull it off, and it's a nice nod to the episode, I assume. I haven't seen the episode, but if you say so, I'll take your word for it. So, I mean, if that's the concept of the episode, then this is a cool way to mechanically represent that. So, good on them for that.
A kid wizard banishes all adults from the universe, so they have to be turned into kids to fight him. So I guess like they're tiny, and then Kingdom Come is kids are hard to shoot. I don't know.
Yeah, because that's what the tiny symbol's for.
Children.
Yeah, because that's why it's a significant appearance. Kids stuff. Oh, I like this team up better than some other Green Lantern ones I've seen. So definitely, we already know that making them tiny, which means they're going to get a +1 against range. Plus, they'll have that super sense rollout sort of thing against ranged attacks. Is pretty good. And in fact, it gives them. Sorry, never mind. I was going to say a whole other part, but that's part of the trait. I already talked myself out of it. Ignore me. But what is kind of neat is having seen some of the other team-up cards for Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, I think there is a potential there to make a nice combination of those cards, some of those Trinity ones and so forth. So there's something interesting there. But I do think this team-up card gives a lot more value to this Green Lantern.
Sorry, what format? Others. What format are you playing that Superman in? Is this a if you lose, you win format?
Shut up! You can find the Superman. It doesn't have to be this Superman.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying because you were saying like the team of cards.
No, it doesn't have to be the Superman from this set.
I know.
In fact, I was just going to say, Justice Lord's Superman is only 10 points. There's a nice cheap Superman to fit on your team for 10 points.
Yeah, that common Superman is like a new version of Bizarro Tournaments. Normally, Bizarro Tournaments is you click backwards. This is Bizarro Tournaments as in, why would you possibly be playing that piece?
So, yes, interesting Green Lantern, not bad team-up card.
I see one massive problem with the fact that we have a Green Lantern who really excels at carrying people, but turns tiny turns, 3 other characters, possibly tiny. So you're kind of limited to just those 3 characters to use, or other tiny characters, right? Because you can't carry normal sized characters with a tiny character, right?
Yeah,
No.
but he can turn those 3 tiny.
Yeah.
Maybe Micron.
But this
the
is
Atom.
what I'm saying is
some
you're
other
limited in the fact that you have to pick tiny characters or these 3 characters. And if there isn't a Wonder Woman, a Superman, and a Batman.
You're limited in your imagination, man.
Hey, I'm just pointing it out, man. My imagination is wild. You know that.
I don't think this team up card is good enough to want to play over Dr. Fates, though, is the problem to begin with.
Fair point. All right. So anyway, we move on to the next one. Come on, computer. Give me life. There we go. Wonder Woman. Have we talked about the comic Wonder Woman on this show yet?
I thought we did.
It was one of the first team up card shows.
I just want to make sure, because now we can just talk about the team up effect, which is Batman and Superman. If both friendly characters are on the map, when Wonder Woman, friendly listed characters are on the map, when Wonder Woman or the listed characters attack and their final attack roll, final in brackets, includes a 3, after resolutions you may place a die with a 3 on this card. If no die was removed from this card, this attack. Once per turn, you may replace a die in an attack roll with a die from this card. Justice League Unlimited, so on and so forth. Tom, thoughts on the Wonder Woman team up?
I don't love it. So you get dice replacement in the event that someone rolls a 3. You can put a 3, which is great dice replacement, by the way. 3 premium. And once per turn, you can replace a die with this turn. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I don't think it's great. I mean, dice replacement is a very good power, but boy, is there ever better dice replacement than rolling the least desirable dice replacement and then not even having it on your card to begin with. I can't complain. The team cards are basically free. If you were going to play this combination of characters anyway, then by all means, rock and roll, have a good time. But I am not pulling this Wonder Woman and immediately saying, where is my lackluster Superman and Batman? I must get some serious 3s going here. So, yeah.
All right, Mike?
Tom wonders why he would play this woman.
Mike has spent time wearing his dad's shirt while he was while he's been off.
I really have. When you're in your own head, everything sounds funny. Yeah, I can't really disagree with Tom. It's a what you see is what you get, and I guess it's not so bad if you want to put a 3 on there for whatever reason. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing.
Percent review from Mike White. I guess it's not so bad if you want a 3 for some reason.
What do I know? He might have some machinations that I'm not aware of.
I don't, but maybe Jay does.
I think I like the team up slightly more, but I just think I don't know what sort of team up card would need to exist to redeem the dial. Like, I love this dial for casual, but we're talking competitive. This is, hypersonic super strength, which was really good. How many years ago now? 3 years ago now. Right. But yeah, it's a decent effect, and if it was on a better character,
she got the Justice League TA. She can go an extra square, providing she's not using hypersonic.
Oh, but if you want to move, you don't get. Okay, fair enough.
I'm not going to pile on this too much, but much to kind of jump on what Tom was saying.
Are there piles?
Yeah, if you pull the character and you have the team up card, it's 1,000 times better than without the team up card because you have the team up ability, but you do have to match the thing. I don't know if anybody who caught my mock sealed, it didn't happen a lot. Where you could pull off the team ups in sealed. Like if you got it, do it. All right, awesome. You can, and as long as it's worth it in some cases too. Like in my case, I had managed to tie together Black Canary and Green Arrow. Don't plan on this ever happening in sealed.
I think WizKids basically said they said something like it will not necessarily happen, which I feel translates to good luck.
Yeah. At least you get the team up card, the character associated with the team up card in the same pack. That's all. That's
I'm glad we have enough evidence that people will stop worrying about that one.
All right. Yeah. Next up, this is like the third Lex Luthor team up card. It's Copperhead. Gives him plasticity, ignores characters. I mean, Is anybody changed on this one?
Anyone playing Copperhead? All right, moving on.
All right, cool.
I thought Copperhead was okay, but also like we know we're getting a 40-point Lex Luthor in this set, so no thanks.
Or 30 if you don't want to play the Flash. All right. Next up from Eternal Games now, we have, starting off, the Crimson Avenger. He is the Uncommon Prime, All-Star Squadron, Justice League, 7 Soldiers, Soldier, Martial Artist, and Past Keywords. He has the Justice League Unlimited trait. To go over that quickly, at the beginning of your turn, roll d6. On a 6, remove an action token from another character with Justice League keyword that's 100 points or less. He's got another trait, a Knockout Gas, a Smoke Cloud as free, but only to generate 4 markers. When Crimson Avenger uses it, after resolutions, choose an opposing character occupying or adjacent to one of his Smoke Cloud markers and give that character an action token. He has 30 points, starts with Perplex, JLA team ability. I'm going to actually take a start on this one. It's also 4 range. He's pretty okay. Free Smoke Cloud is great. Free Smoke Cloud that gives an action token for free. We saw what Kobik did when giving action tokens to characters for free, and she had to be adjacent. He's got to be within 4 range, but still. He does have stealth, so he can use the smoke that he's using. He comes with some poison if you do happen to get him in close combat, to go with the close combat combat reflexes. So he's cool. For 30 points, I might consider him in like last include in a Justice League team. It adds Perplex to the team. He's not flying off, but it is a possible support character for the team. So I'm not going to say definitely going to be competitive, but I'm going to say there's a place for him. And I think what he does is pretty solid for the price that you're paying. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I agree with you. His own Smoke Cloud plus his stealth is enough protection that I'm not so worried about it. Like, there are things that can KO him, but he's also only 30 points. He's not Jolt, who's just waiting to be killed. At least he got something to protect him. And he's giving Perplex to your team, if nothing else. And I love the free Smoke Cloud that tokens people, and Poison's always useful. So, I mean, this is a good example of what do you want for 30 points, especially in a post-Mangog world. So, yeah.
All right. Mike?
Yeah, I think you have to consider the possibility of this piece because of that. It's low enough points. The Perplex is always useful. Protects himself by creating free smoke underneath himself with stealth and combat reflexes. So a 19 if you got to come in and deal with him. Plus poison, so you're less wanting to base him. Somebody who could get carried by other characters and generate smoke to give them somewhere to hide. So yeah, it's definitely a reasonable 30-point piece that could be a support piece on some teams. And with Justice League and all the Justice League stuff that's just dropped, you definitely have to look at him being part of that. And that Justice League Unlimited trait, you can't totally discount it because as far as I know, I'm not reading it wrong, Jay, you get to roll it for everybody, right?
Yeah, every character has it independently. So,
here's a 30-point figure to help fill out a team, Justice League team, to give them Perplex, to give them the possibility of free stealth and taking tokens off a 100-point or less character. Yeah, that's great value for 30 points.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jay, your thoughts?
Why'd you make me go last? I love this style. I think this is actually my favorite thing in the set. I think
why.
I think
we end on a high note.
Let the man start.
Get to the good part. What? So basically, what you have here is you have a 30-point support piece with a bunch of keywords. 7 Soldiers has. I don't think it can be argued that it's probably the best team up card. That's the one where you get your attack rolls are minimum 1 for every one of the characters you have. So if you have all of them, your attack rolls are always minimum 7. And then if you have all of them, they all get outsiders. Problem is that Shine Knight's not spectacular, but I think there's something to it. But yeah, so it basically has a Justice League keyword, so he's going to be your theme prop. He's only 30 points. If you want to use team up cards, you can't use Dr. Fate to spam. So I think he's actually is he the cheapest option for the keyword?
I think so.
Not including if he's not, he's close. So basically you have a prime. Yeah. He's another character with Justice League Unlimited, and the more you have of those, the more likely it's going to work. And it's seeming like nothing's really over 100 that could benefit from it. You have the solid stats. Like he can be a 20 and close if you want to use that Perplex. He has poison, stealth, Smoke Cloud to protect himself, protect others, or even give them a negative attack value, especially if we're talking about a world of main force attackers. And it just comes down to this is a support piece that your opponent cannot ignore for one reason or another. either he's going to be poisoning them, he's going to be tying up, he's going to be body blocking, assuming they don't stealth bust, or he just has, if I am within 4 of you, I give you a token. And also, it's based on a power that you have to outwit through stealth. So then you have to either KO him, which isn't easy, or you have to deal with him, his defenses, or you have to outwit through stealth, and then he has the rest of his dial. Like, if you just outwit the Smoke Cloud, he has good stealth reflexes and then perplex for your team and poison. Like, that's just a really good kit all around. And the tempo of having as much Justice League Unlimited as possible is, if you're lucky enough, it could swing a game. So I just think, if I'm sitting across from this character, I'm thinking, that token power could matter. My opponent can make it matter. There should be a taxi. There should be a way for that to happen. So I just can't really not deal with it. The only problem is that, I mean, we saw the Batman Prime, and that's just a whole other thing. But independent of, yikes, there are primes that are super duper broken, whatever. I think, as far as your support piece goes, if you're not using your prime slot, why not? Like, this is just a lot of value. And then if your opponent, and also we saw One Man Army today, so, but yeah, I think he's just an incredible support piece that your opponent will have to deal with one way or the other.
I think Jay likes it, guys.
We just need to get, as a piece with poison that's constantly surrounded by noxious gas and has close combat, expert combat reflexes, this guy should be the Toxic Avenger.
Oh, he's looking for a pig. It's the best name for
Okay, also, you said pig pile when you were talking about Wonder Woman. I thought you were making an intentional joke.
I was not.
Nice.
All right. Oh, come on, mouse. Fucking. Oh, excuse me. Next up, we have Parasite. Legion
that's why we're all home at the moment.
Yeah. Legion of Doom, Metropolis, Secret Society of Supervillains, Superman, Revenge Squad, and monster keywords. It looks like it's a lot of keywords. It's just a lot of words. Energy Drain is his trait. Plasticity, Steel Energy. Parasite starts at the game at click number 6. When he uses Steel Energy, he instead heals 1 click for each special power and 1 click for each 2 standard powers displayed on a hit target's dial before they take damage. So that's when you check for the powers. And when he uses it, he may heal past the starting line. His second trait, if I can do anything, you can do. When Parasite hits with a close attack, after resolutions, you may choose a standard power printed on a hit character's card and note it. This is why we're allowed to take notes now, guys. Parasite can use the chosen power. When Parasite takes damage from an attack after resolutions, choose a noted power. Parasite can't use that power from any source until he chooses to note that power again. He's got a special attack power, gives him precision strike. Parasite has a range value of 6. He's 50 points with a Superman enemy team ability. He is indomitable. Jay, I'm going to let you start this one because I had you start on a team up card, and that's not fair.
You just caught me at the wrong time because I was thinking about anything you can do, I can do better. And his attack power is perfect for I can kill a partridge with a single cartridge. Parasite is weird because I feel like there's going to be one game where he's just going to Hulk out and it's going to matter a lot and could make the game very different because depending on what they have. Tri-Sentinel has 3 special powers on his top dial. So that is a lot of healing for him. But on the other hand, it's so weird because his potential is so good. And he's only 50 points. But it's also if he doesn't hit first, it's just you wasted 50 points in a prime slot. Outwit Shape Chain, I mean, he's not the easiest to KO, but it's just... And I really don't like the fact that he goes from charge to sidestep on his healing up. It's yay, I have cool Steel Energy and I got all the way up, and now if you run away, I have to catch you a sidestep. But I think this will be a hell of a casual dial. This could matter a lot in sealed with the right team. In teams, I'm sure there'll be a really good theme team that can TK him or help him particularly. And the plasticity is nice. I just feel especially now in the age of I can look at the dial. If I sit across from a vampire dial, I'm like, okay, what does he look like at the end? Uh-oh, that's really bad. Let's deal with him right away. So, but even regardless, I think it's just a little bit too easy to deal with him, and also going from toughness to toughness. Like, you go to all the effort to get to click 1, you heal 5 clicks, then you're on toughness again. It's like, I don't know.
No,
I think it's my least. I don't like Vampire Dials, but it's not bad.
Okay. Well, what do you think, Tom?
What could I add? I would suggest that I'm pretty tired of the way that the last several years of Heroclix have just been in like clutched with a stranglehold of Vampire Dials. Like they're just so good that they see so much play and they always work. So I'm tired of getting yet another Vampire Dial that once again will just be on every team and will always work as planned.
Making a sarcasm icon for Tom from now on, just so that when he goes on this, I can just hit a button and it's big red letters sarcasm.
The sarcasm button. Yeah, I can't contribute much to Jay besides making jokes because I agree that he's not great. You'll have that one game where your opponent doesn't know what they're doing, and you're like, "My Parasite's the greatest piece in HeroClix history," and I hope that it's a treasured memory. It's only happening once.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, I think part of the problem with what they've put on the dial is there's an intention there that when you get up to those clicks, you've got powers that are filling in those places. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You've stolen a movement power, you've stolen a defensive power as one of your first 2 picks, most likely, to offset the toughness or to offset the lack of a movement power. So I think there's something about this figure and the way it's designed that it's sort of it doesn't show all of what it is because of that. But as such, it's a crapshoot. Like it's a total anomalous character, just like everybody else is saying. He could pull off some amazing stuff if you put him with the right balance and the right build up, and you get a good hit in early on the right character. Yeah, this could turn into an amazing Parasite. Or you could whiff on the first shot and just hand 50 points to your opponent. I think the fact that he's only 50 points, so there's still a lot to build around him, makes him less of a hot mess. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
If he was 100 points or 150 points, you'd be like, are you kidding me? I'm never going to invest the money in that. I'm never going to invest the time in that. It's never going to work.
Yeah.
Versus...
He's a room temperature mess, certainly.
That's what I'm saying. But like at 50 points, he feels a little more like, yeah, maybe I'll give him a shot. Yeah, maybe this will work out. So I agree with all the stuff you're saying that like you need a lot of help to pull it off, and you need things to go your way, or else Parasite's just a complete waste of the prime slot in those 50 points. But the fact that he is only 50 points and with the right build-up, who knows? I guess I'm also blinded by the fact that he has monster keyword and Mojo has another friend to play with. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's a keyword you could use, and it's a 50-point character who probably could be good with the Doc Ock arms. But is there a 50-point prime who's also good with the Doc Ock arms? I don't know, guys.
Yeah, I know. We know. Bullshit. We know.
That's my main problem. I understand the idea of the healing can be good and the powers, but it's just... I don't know why they keep on making these Vampire Dials prime. They just never feel prime worthy. I don't know.
It's so that we are enticed to not use them being prime.
I kind of feel like that is the purpose of it.
I
don't want to waste a prime slot on this.
Yeah, I know. If I've got 50 points and I need a prime, we all know who I'm reaching for. Josiah X.
Boom! Got him. All right, next up, Micron. Justice League and future keywords. I got Tom focused for some reason. Size alteration is his first trait. Sidestep, free, choose tiny or colossal. Micron has the chosen symbol until your next turn.
I love it.
Just bypass this giant.
Whatever. And then the next one. Looks like I'll have to answer this distress call. Power. If Micron is colossal, place him adjacent to an opposing character that damaged another friendly character since your last turn. This action is free instead if that friendly character was KO'd. Next, Hitchhiker. When Micron is tiny and an adjacent character is given a move or power action, after resolutions, you may place Micron adjacent to that character. He's got a special damage power in his first 3 clicks. Team player and brawler. Close combat expert in power. Enhancement. He's indomitable. He's flies. He's a JLA team abilities, normal size otherwise. Tom, you get the lead on Micron.
Sure. I like him. I think there's very little not to like. He's can be tiny with sidestep and when super senses on an 18, 19 from range if there's no other way to get around the tiny. So I think that's all real good, and enhancement is always nice. If nothing else, he's a tiny little enhancer that you carry around with you and shoot things. But I love the way that he's got the whole like Ant-Man style lockdown power where he follows people around when they take move or power actions. I think that's really, really slick. And he's got, quasi colossal retaliation of a sort. I don't quite know. Maybe Jay will be able to fill us in on why you would necessarily do the power action version that places him
Set up for
around.
enhancement or empower is probably the best.
Yeah.
For plasticity, it feels like they wanted to make it free, but then they were like, that's too good. Okay, I'll make free an option and like whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. It does feel like there's like it just doesn't feel like that's worth it. But
it feels episode accurate though, because he answers a distress call and then promptly gets taken out like right away. That's like, hey, I'm gonna take my power action. Oh, they killed me.
That's the important thing. I mean, he's not dynamite. I do think that he'll be, but I think that he's a nice little, as I say, character to be carried around, enhance people, try to get into position to make some attacks and stuff. And if someone else gets KO'd, then he can suddenly turn colossal, jump next to them, and use close combat expert as a quasi version of a colossal retaliation. So, I mean, that's something you have to keep in mind. That makes him good enough that I think he's absolutely worth consideration.
All right, Mike.
Well, funnily enough, you don't even technically have to carry him around, right? Because if you make him tiny, then he has that power, and he can just automatically jump next to you.
He's tank style. I forgot that works for friendlies too.
To kind of jump in, though, you would want to carry him if you're charging a running shot because he doesn't move until after the action resolves.
Okay, good point. Well, then there's that. But he's a fun little 50-point figure. I think he's definitely, like Jay said, he's definitely accurate to how he was in the series because he's part of the that whole Batman Beyond Justice League from the future. I think he's a fun little figure. If I'm playing sealed, well, he's a super rare prime, so he's definitely taking up a big slot. So I'm going to consider putting him on the team. Empower and enhancement's nice. I think he's got a nice little power set. I don't necessarily see him making a big splash part on the competitive scene, though.
Jay?
Am I the only one that noticed that he's kind of Sam Cap? Or am I just blind somehow?
I see what you're talking about with the move and then...
Yeah. Like, 50-point Sam Cap now. It has enhancement and empower, and it doesn't even need to be carried. Doesn't have the 0 action.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't put that together.
Yeah. But even before you consider that, I think the pseudo retaliate's pretty cool because then you can jump and then do a big close combat expert. I think the Justice League keyword, the options he has, I think it's a nice kit and his values are good enough and he should be hard enough to deal with. And then he's interesting because he does certain stuff depending on what your opponent does. But then if your opponent doesn't do it, he'll just do something else instead. So it's like, oh no, I can't take this big 5 damage close combat expert to the face. I better not kill that guy. Oh, I'm going to do something else instead. But then he just does his tiny shenanigans instead. And then you're like, oh. So it's weird because it's almost like your opponent can't quite address what he can do in a meaningful way. But also that assumes that ID cards are a thing. So it's iffy. But even regardless...
I guess. I mean, even without them, though, you're right. Like, it's very easy to move somebody up their movement value, drop off Micron in front of them, sidestep forward, and then, whack them in the face with close combat expert. That's all very viable.
Yeah, like what you can call on a Wolverine, 50-point Wolverine. He's 11-4 already before any other modifiers.
I don't think the move is the sidestep's going to work because it's a capital move that's required.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's a move
the
action.
follow is for a move.
Sidestep's a
capital
free
move.
action. Yeah.
It's an
But I
all
wasn't.
can-
That's not what I meant. What I meant is
Oh.
that he's got traded sidestep.
Oh, that's
So
right.
you
Yes,
basically
okay,
yeah,
the
yeah,
guys
yeah.
carry him forward. It extends out
Yeah.
the swing of his Sam Cappiness by
My
another
bad.
couple.
Yeah.
I misunderstood.
I guess the
Yeah.
only thing I don't understand is really why would you ever use the power action part? Because you just place him. He doesn't
we
then
can't-
get to attack.
We can't figure it out. It's like Jay said.
If
the
you
only
really
possible
need a
value is
theme
enhancement.
prob, empower enhancement.
But you know what I mean? Like, hi, let me suddenly place this
Well, it's
colossal target next to an opposing character.
Well, it also depends on the map. Like if you're on an indoor map, he could like go colossal, teleport wherever, and then like sidestep carry somebody who used an ID card, or he can like. It's not
Situational.
going
Sorry.
to matter a lot, but you'll be
Budget.
happy you have it sometimes, or you'll just use the free.
Yeah. When you use it, you'll use it. It's not going to be your first go-to, I think, for sure. All right.
Fifth.
I got nothing really else to add. It's an okay. A solid okay. Come on.
The Sam Cap thing makes me rethink my whole life. I actually think now I think about it, I think he's actually pretty amazing.
And the fact that he comes
have
standard to
seen this
begin
flash before.
with, instead of having one of the symbols, means that you can do the thing that the kids like doing these days with standard characters 50 points or less. I'm so sick of that already.
What? What are you
Wait, you
talking
didn't
about?
think it was going to
Steve
get
Rogers.
old?
Yeah.
Oh,
Welcome to
that.
the Avengers. Welcome to Shield. You didn't think that was going to get old within a week?
Well, also the fact that Shield has the dude, the similar the follow dude.
The dude,
Dude.
the dude.
But the
They
Shield
got
officer,
me.
he's like
Dude,
Shield
the Shield
officer or
officer. There it
Shield
is, yeah.
bathroom attendant.
It's
I don't
the
know
Shield
what he's
officer.
called.
Shield officer.
Sure, yeah, the Shield officer with the similar effects.
Let's
That's
talk
like
about
a
the
cool.
Flash.
No.
Flash 65 points. This is the team up card. I haven't seen this style on the show yet, so I'm just going to go over quickly before I go over the team up. Around the world in 80 milliseconds is his trait on anything that doesn't, even with or without the team up.
Yeah.
Free if the Flash occupies a square on the edge of the map and the edge is the longest edge of the map or tied for it. Place him on the same row or column on the opposite. You can Pac-Man with him.
Yeah, you can. What was the Rainbow Bridge? You can Rainbow Bridge him.
Yeah, there you go.
That's old school.
He can't be placed in a starting area this way. Just League Unlimited trait. Then a special movement power across the entire dial, across the city in the blink of an eye. Hypersonic, free. This turn, modify speed +3, but the Flash can only move in direct paths. 65 points, Indomitable with the JLA team ability. And then in this one, we're adding the Green Lantern team up, which is at the beginning of your turn, you may exchange the Flash's square with the listed friendly character's square. He ignores elevated and hindering for movement. Tom, you had the last one, right? No.
I think. Yeah. I don't. I think it's been a while since Mike's gone first.
Yeah, so it's Mike's turn.
Aw. I mean, he's a Flash. He's a cool Flash. I'm glad he at least is a Flash that ignores hindering and elevated, because we've had a lot in the past who trip over bushes, and that's
Still better
annoying
than
as all
Quicksilver,
hell.
apparently.
Yeah, right?
Better than Batman.
Oh God, don't get me started. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, who doesn't? New ways to move them into places on the map. I'm sure somebody will come along and find a way to exploit that into some kind of crazy meta thing. I do dig the team up, just like we've said before. If you've got him and you've got Green Lantern, for whatever reason you're playing him on there, it's not a bad idea to swap them. We've already seen that particular Green Lantern is pretty soft with an 18 and just barrier. So if he gets base, to be able to pull him out and drop Flash in to punch somebody and then hypersonic away is cool. We fall back to are we playing these figures though? I don't know. He's a neat, pretty standard Flash. Not horrible. Pre-retirement, I think he's got a little bit more value being 65 points in an Indomitable, which means you could always back up, have him as a ID call-in guy for a lot of the ones we like Wolverine and Cyclops and such. So I think he's an okay Flash. Better than some, not the best.
All right. Jay?
Yeah, it feels like they appropriately costed this dial, so that's not gonna fly in the competitive scene. What are you talking
happens
about?
at Uncommon.
Yeah, it feels like there should be some tech here, but maybe there just needs to be a specific map that works well with it or something. But even then, like, what is he really doing? What?
Are you actually asking me? Or? Oh, no. Jay has got to deal with noise in the background. Tom.
Sorry, people in the house don't know that I have my own life and do my own things.
Carry on.
But yeah,
Anyway,
he
you
just
were saying.
doesn't really do anything.
All right. Tom.
Sorry, still on Been Around the World.
Been around the world.
Been around the
Yeah.
I can't find my baby.
It's so good.
Oh, this is not the last time we're going to sing on this show, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Hypersonic speed. Yeah, it's Flash. What do you want?
I was going to say, this is the
Mike's
flashiest
point-
Flash I've ever flashed.
Mike's point is so well made, and I think it was also said by someone else earlier in the show. Are you playing this piece? I love the team up card. Absolutely love the ability to swap my characters, especially two characters with such a diverse and differentiated power set as a Flash and your Green Lantern, for the most part. I mean, again, maybe it depends on the particular Lantern, but for the most part, these are two characters that do things in very different ways. So I think there's a lot of times when you would want one to swap with the other to try to take advantage of the situation. But I mean, you still have to play this Flash to get it, and he's only okay at best. It's cool that he can go straight for +3 move with his hypersonic, and I think it's cool that it's not like the old you charge straight thing. He can still hypersonic. He just has to go in straight paths, so he can go out and back with big time movement. He just has to go in a straight line. That's pretty cool. I think there's a lot to like about him from a casual perspective, but I think he's a hard sell beyond that.
Mm.
Yeah, he'll be stupid in casual or I guess even Bronze Age or whatever with KC Green Lantern. Just place him all the way across.
Yeah.
And he's not sealed bad either. I would consider him in a sealed pool, even without the team up. So.
Any hypersonic piece under 75 points, for the most part, I would consider in sealed.
Yeah. All right, and to round it all up, the last one from Eternal Games is Wonder Woman again. This time it's a team up with Black Canary. Sorry. Oof. Spoilers. If the listed characters on the map, Wonder Woman can use probability control, but only when targeted by a close attack. Anybody would be excited to get this with a Black Canary? I'm seeing some smirks, some side smiles, some nonplussed faces. I don't know. Anybody?
Well, I mean, prob would have been more exciting if it gave her prob, like not just
the most situational prob imaginable,
right? When she's attacked by a close combat attack.
Yeah, on an even numbered day of an odd numbered month.
Thanks for
if
nothing.
You're playing Black Canary, who's not bad, but
so you already got to put Black Canary on there, and you're only getting prob on her. Yeah, no, let's just move on.
Fair enough.
Well, we've just seen straight up prob on these cards. I don't understand which designers had an argument the night before. I don't know what's going on. I think one of them gave I think there was just regular prob, wasn't there?
Well,
I don't
somebody's
think
not.
Somebody's
not a big fan of Black Canary.
I thought one of the Green Lantern ones gave him prob or something. Who knows?
There's been so many spoilers and so many team up cards. It's hard to remember.
That's the thing. Some of these cards have between 7 and 10 team up cards. It's pretty insane. So it's a lot to keep track of. So it's very easy to get.
I did find it. It's the Green Lantern has one for Batman and Wonder Woman. He gets double prob. He gets prob twice a turn.
Okay.
Yeah, but to be fair, he might be the target of close combat attacks in some of those situations. So it's the same thing.
All right. I'm going to take a second before we get to the next topic to throw a little shout out. For a long time, HC Realms has pretty much commanded the world as the sole source of being able to track our figures, build teams, and that such. Another player is in the market, and this one's made by Joe Pangracio. I hope I said that right. This is the Clixnexus. It's a very busy looking site when you first see it. It's very awe-inspiring. I kind of like it. It's clixnexus.com. And just give everybody a bit of a peek. That's not what we're talking about. This one here. And they have their own unit section. Now, it's obviously in the early stages, but you can see you can start, much like HC Realms, hit the plus button next to a character, adds, deletes characters, does the math for you already. There's multiple. I think every set, including everything that's been spoiled for Justice League Unlimited, is on the site right now. Don't base my internet connection on how this performs, by the way, because I am am pushing my internet connection to the limits lately.
And you're Canadian.
Yes. But yeah, there's Justice League Unlimited. And if you click the dial, you'll see it to the immediate right there. Let's get Superman back on there. Here we go. So there it is, Clixnexus.com. If you are sick of HC Realms and the ads, because ad block is on, but I turned it off earlier, and
you can't browse HC Realms without ads. That's like illegal or something, or without ad block or without a subscription.
It's definitely not good for your computer. It's unprotected something. I don't want to say the words, but yeah. So like this is it with ad block off, and as you can see, nothing going on. So check that out, clixnexus.com. I just wanted to throw a shout out to the community, because this is just a member of the Heroclix community who made this, and I always love when somebody goes to the extra steps to just bring something to the community like this. And so it's, bring your attention to it, and give it a try. And I'm sure Joe would love your notes if you have any. There is a forum section. There is a forum there too. And there's a list. There's a section for maps as well, Tom. So
yeah, Joe also he, after 2017 rules, he went through and reworded all of the old special powers and stuff to work for current wording. Awesome. It's incredible. I haven't looked through every single power, but I trust him. He's very known for rule stuff, so if you find his legacy documents, because you're playing Golden Age, they're quite useful in an unofficial fashion.
All right. So yeah, a little bit of shout out to the community on that one. But it's time to talk about it. The topic that everybody's been talking about since last week when it first got announced. Rotation is coming July 1st, and we know what's rotating. And I'll go over the article, and then we're going to talk about our 3 things we're going to miss, and 3 things that better get the hell out of here. I'm not going to miss you. Make sure the door hits your ass on the way out. Modern Age rotation. The 5-figure booster sets we are losing in this rotation. DC Elseworlds. Yes, that's right. Elseworlds was still legal, guys. Mighty Thor. Harley Quinn and the Gotham Girls. The original series Star Trek Away Team. X-Men Xavier's School. I heard cheering off in the corner. And Avengers Infinity. Fast Forces, we're losing Harley Quinn, X-Men Xavier School, Avengers Infinity, and the Ninja Turtles Unplugged. As far as starter sets, we're losing Elseworlds, Mighty Thor, Star Trek Away Team, so obviously the ones that are linked to that. Micro sets, we're losing Undead. I'm going to miss you, Baltimore. And Dr. Frankenstein. I got some gas out of him. Thor Ragnarok and Ninja Turtles Unplugged. Now, in the con exclusive section, we are losing from the 2017 con exclusives, the Colossal Sinestro, Doomsday, the Superman, Muhammad Ali, and the Boxing Ring, Plastic Man, Bat Knight, and Zeus, the Invisible Plane, Titano, this is the albino, the white one, Ape Superman Pog, Ape Flash Pog, Ape Green Lantern Pog, Ape Batman Pog, the Free Comic Book Day Juggernaut, yes, that was tournament legal, the Giant Man, Pim Particle Tank, Pim Pocket Tank, combo box, the Spirit of Vengeance Red Hulk. I just recently played him. I'm so glad I got a chance to do that. Spider Carnage, the first iteration of Earth X Captain America, the Samurai Spider Gwen, Dormammu, Deadpool's Merc Jet. This is the Colossal Dormammu, second version of it. Serpent Spider-Man, Serpent Punisher, Serpent Moon Knight, Serpent Daredevil Pogs. The Iron Man, Thor, Captain America Quick Start Kit. That was tournament legal.
Yeah, I would have lost a bet on that.
Cyber Shredder, Pizza Face, Bebop, and Rocksteady. And then from 2018 cons specifically, we're losing just this selection of 2018 stuff. The Blackbird, the Colossus ID, Professor X ID, Banshee ID, Psylocke ID, Rogue ID, all the ID cards are gone. We're also losing some organized play sets, specifically the Falcon, Kate Bishop, Miss America one, the one that included Polaris, Havoc, Banshee, the Huntress, Power Girl, Flash, OP kits, Colossus, Stormblink, and the Scarlet Spider, Dr. Voodoo, Synapse.
And just if it wasn't clear, like you said, all the ID cards, that also includes the DC ID cards.
That
also includes the wanted posters and also the Tricentennial. Oh no! We get to keep that.
That's right. Tricentennial stays. So obviously, the big thing that everybody's talking about, ID cards are gone. They're just, see you guys. I don't know if this is the last iteration we're going to see of them. I don't know what the call on that one is. It's none of my business. But buy ID cards for at least a little bit come July 1st. So, guys who are running Heroclix Canadian Nationals, go ahead and run that after that. I want to see what that medal looks like, to be brutally honest. So, yeah, there's our selections of what's going away. And now we're going to talk about what we're going to... I want to talk about what we're not sad to see go, what we're happy. Let's start on the negativity and, let's just
end on the nostalgia.
It's all, and end on nostalgia. And I'm going to let Jay start this one, just to throw things through a loop. Jay, and we'll go 1-1-1, okay?
Yeah.
Jay, what is something that you are sad or happy to see go?
What about my honorable mentions? I guess I should do them now.
Do all. If you have honorable mentions, start with your first one with those as well.
So my honorable mentions for my get out of here, you're oppressive, I hate you forever, and anybody that likes you, okay, not really, but pizza face. Like, come on. Adam Cole.
I am just happy to never hear Adam Cole say it ever again.
That seems like it's a very targeted one, that one is.
Yeah.
No, but really, I mean, it's something that he likes, and he's a good guy. And if he is going to be sad to miss it, then I'll miss it for him.
He did do it once.
You also forgot that they early retired one more game element. But I don't know. I guess they forgot on the list. It's this a chase from Secret Wars. I think it's a Sheriff Strange.
Unofficially retired. Gonna miss you, buddy.
Maybe he'll see play at full points now, guys. Maybe.
Tom. Hold on. Where's that sarcasm button?
Okay, but for my actual first dishonorable, I'm glad this doesn't exist anymore. For 10 points, you have just amazing theme fluff. You have a 2x2 to fill your starting area. You have just an oppressive amount of utility when this figure gets to Colossal Retaliate and make a plasticity shape change super senses pog, even if it misses. Carnage, what the hell? Yeah, but this is just not the worst Colossal from Headset, not the worst Retaliate they've ever printed. But, like, wow. Like, every time I look at this figure, like, if I'm looking through Monster, I'm like, wow, how is nobody playing this? This is so good, but it's still not being played. I mean, it was. Obviously, it was when it came out, but just the fact that something this good didn't see play.
Guilty.
But just...
yeah, we've all played it, but...
Yeah. Like, if at least he needed to hit to make the pog. But, like, come on.
The fact that, like, make the attack to make the pog. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, you need to not crit miss. Okay, like, good for you. And you need to not kill the figure. But, like, yeah, it's not the absolute worst 10-point filler. But we'll get to that later, or I'll get to that later.
All right,
but you will.
Mike, next.
Funnily enough, it's also a multi-based 10-point figure that we've seen a lot of, and that would be Flora Colossus.
Yeah, man.
I am happy to see them go. Yeah, Jay, in your face. Burn the trees. Set fire to the forest. Don't care. Never have I been more annoyed by a figure that I never should have been annoyed by. Yeah, it's just, I'm so happy to just burn them all down. Screaming trees. Can't wait.
It Coloss retaliated on me. What's your call, Tom?
You know what? I agree with the idea that for 10 points, it's ridiculous that you've got a piece that can jump across the board, make an attack, and then generate a plasticity piece. I agree that for 10 points, it's ridiculous that you've got this like self-healing theme filler that just keeps gaining momentum and power as it makes its way across the board. But I'll take 2 Carnages and a Flora before I'll be happy to see 30 points across the map and end the game.
Mangog.
Which some prefer to call Mangog. So yeah, my first on this list is thank heavens there is no more Mangog. I am so tired of that game, of that win condition masquerading as a piece.
All right, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna be a hipster for a second. I was doing bystanders before they were cool. And for 20 points, all of a sudden, everybody thinks they can do bystanders? Groot, Get out! I'm not going to miss that 20-point Groot. I used him. I am guilty of using the crap out of Groot. And I am not going to miss putting him on my teams or seeing him on other teams. I am not going to miss the little freaking bush things that he makes, those names that just don't want to remember anymore. I'm not going to miss forgetting that I had Leslie Evans. I'm not going to miss watching my opponent realize I have Outwit because you gave it to me with Leslie Evans. I'm just not going to miss. I'm not going to miss having defense value that isn't on my dial, but is often forgotten about. I am not going to miss 20-point Groot Colossal at all. I'm done with him.
Strong first round, everyone.
Yeah. Everybody started with the hot ones.
Yeah.
Mike, I'm going to let you start the second round.
Okay, well, we haven't really technically seen this figure in a while, and I did use it to some success at one point in time, but it sort of falls back into that category of a bystander that's really annoying, though this one wasn't free. It did cost you points, and it was a pretty significant amount of points for a bystander at 20 points. But boy, could it be a pain in the ass as this thing just kept outliving everything else. And that is a Mudman.
Mudman.
Is your list just specifically targeted at me, or what's going
Yeah,
on?
there might be some targeting.
No,
there.
we're targeting it specifically at cheesy horribleness that only terrible people play.
You just conveniently
if you happen to fall under that category, Jay.
If I was good at Heroclix, I would play, PCR stupid. Okay.
All right, Jay, you get second dibs on.
Yeah.
On
Revenge.
round 2.
Well, you messed up my list because I had Groot. So I am going to follow it up with follow Carnage with the other ridiculous Colossal from Thor that is not Mangog, because Surtur, that's that ruling that nobody figured out for 2 years was a hell of a swan song. What the hell? Like, he got double buffed because originally when he came out, defense powers that weren't in the defense slot mattered, because that was after he came out. So he originally didn't even care about like traded defense powers or like equipment or whatever, but then they gave that to him, and then they double buffed him again by making him a 25-point shredder. Like, no, thank you. I think being allowed to use the powers in my defense slot is a thing I would like to be able to do now. And also, like, 12 attack, 3 damage plus the ping that ignores your defenses and is penetrating for 25 points. And you can't even outwit him because he's power cosmic. Because why is he power cosmic? I don't know. And also the fact that Devin was able to do the horrifying things by changing the size. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I don't know how many of those New York State's events or games were recorded, but at least the final was. Yeah, I'm not going to miss the opportunity for that effect to exist in Heroclix. Thanks.
All right, Tom.
Well, I hate to break the trend of choosing 25 and under point figures or 30 and under point figures, but I have to finally bust that trend because Mike maybe threw a little shade towards Jay, and if Jay's not going to throw some shade back, then I know that I will. Because if you're talking about pieces that I'll be happy not to see, then you got to go with Unseen. And I think it's specifically because I'm so tired of facing Mike with Unseen. Like, the thing is, admittedly, it's appropriate that he goes with the ID cards, and so he gets so much utility out of them. But he's also just so oppressively annoying, and I know that there are those who don't like Unseen, and that's fine for them. I mean, not don't like him as in don't like the idea of playing him. I mean, I don't particularly like him, but for different reasons. I just like him, and he's just everything. He's just everything that is good in one package. He creates his own smoke while having stealth. You can't outwit him because of power cosmic. He's got outwit that sees through everything. He's got prob that sees through everything. And then he just comes out and calls out ID characters. He's very hard to deal with. And if you do happen to get next to him, then he's got a 50-50 rollout on your super senses. It's nuts. I think that he's crazy oppressively good. And admittedly, he probably loses a lot of stock in a post ID card world. But I'm just happy not to see him anymore.
All right. For me, I am of one mind on my next pick, and I'm just sick of hearing about him, sick of considering him, sick of thinking, can my team beat him? Just sick of the conversation that surrounded him when he first existed. Sick of the conversation. I'm just so not gonna miss the Unimind. I mean,
you bet.
I haven't seen him in a while. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just sick of his existence. And like he really soured me on that Rock World Cup where I went 5 rounds straight of just playing against Unimind. It was brutal for my psyche. And so yeah, I am not in any way, shape, or form going to miss Unimind at all. All right. Round 3, Tom, you get to start this one off.
Well, it's appropriate that I do because I could like do a deep dive, try to find another pick, but I'm just going to say Unimind because he is my number one. He is the piece that I am most excited to no longer see, and I've had some success against Unimind. I've lost matches against Unimind. It's not I have no personal vendetta. It's just I am just so sick of, as Jason says, either seeing him or having to consider him or both. He's one of the most overplayed pieces of this entire rotation, and an overplayed piece at like 50% plus of your team, which means a Unimind team is a Unimind team. You know, a group can go on every team, but there's still an awful lot more team there. But a Unimind team is a Unimind team is a Unimind team to some extent, and whatever you're building around it will enable him in different ways. But I'm super grateful that we won't have to deal with that, think about that, or keep it in the back of your mind anymore. So goodbye, Unimind. I won't miss you.
All right. What about you, Mike?
Well, conveniently, I'm going to have some shots fired back at my good friend Tom there with my number 1 pick for Happily Going. A thing that's been fired across the map at me many times by many people. The freaking pin pocket pick. I will be so happy to see this thing out. For something so simple, I have been abused by that thing. So I felt like Wile E. Coyote after a while, getting an anvil dropped on him over and over again.
Blink, blink, blink.
And I knew it was coming too. Like I would do everything I could to make it not happen, but somehow this tank come flying out of the sky and just annihilated my whole team. I will be so happy to see that ridiculous, stupid, team-busting piece of crap head out the window. Oh, I'm not bitter, though.
No, clearly.
All right, Jay.
Well, I had to run an audible to add the Pin Pocket Tank to my list in the first place because I was originally going for the 3 ridiculous Colossus Retaliators or whatever Tyler decided to name them.
Yeah.
And now I have to figure out another audible, but I don't think I quite have one. So I'm just going to say pick one thing out of the various ID cards. I'm going to say just the fact that, I mean, pick your pick of the Cyclops ID of the 2 of them, but just that was so... Like, the fact that you get this ridiculous shot and there's literally no way to interact. Like, nothing... Like, technically, yeah, if you want to have a Mojo and he gets a sidestep after they sidestep, but really, though, like, there's no way to interact with this. They just get to make a shot and poof. There's just absolutely nothing you can do outside of, like, what? Now we have the one Psylocke who has that weird sidestep interaction? Like, not really. Like, this is just... And the fact that it was Psychic Blast on your side of the board, which is not even that hard to do, and Precision Strike, and destroys blocking, and the leadership that activated when he came in, at least for half of his existence. Just, I don't like, in any game, not being able to interact. And I feel like he was just, at this point, the worst of it, but also I feel like he's just probably one of the best ID cards of all time just because of what he does in general. And also the fact that the inspiration on the other one is Force Blast, which is only good sometimes, but when you get to use it effectively, it's so ridiculous. Like knocking somebody off elevated or just rolling it for passive damage. There's just too much to hate, and also it's Cyclops. I don't want to ever have to see Cyclops in a competitive Heroclix game. Meanwhile, the real one, whatever one was in House of X, is just magically 100 times better because I said that, but that's okay.
I mean, at least you'll be forced to play it on the board.
I get to kill him. That's the best part.
My last one isn't the one that made me the most upset, but I'm still not going to miss the idea of Mjolnir. It just, what it did was, its interactions with a lot of characters was just, I'm just making something different, really, because ID cards in general was the thing I really hated, or was really happy to see go.
Interesting.
But
I actually thought about Mjolnir at the last second.
I thought about Mjolnir too, but it's been a while, right?
It's one of those things like you don't expect to be taking 2 range attacks from
somebody. I never hated it. So.
Yeah, it's just it kind of took a fundamental and really cracked a lot of characters and made you go, well, here's a character who has a really good close combat movement power and some really high range, so now he's useful. And I think those characters we are supposed to go back to laughing at. So, but that said, in all brutal honesty, my top is all ID cards. I use them as much as I did. Got fundamentally close with them. I really liked them when the first Avengers set of ID cards came out. Like, I was really hyped for them. But honestly, the game then devolved to ID card. Are all my ID cards done? Okay, now we're playing Heroclix with what we brought on the map. Oh, time. Okay, cool. That's kind of how the flow of the game turned into. So now we actually have to play with things on the map. That said, I have my conversations about how that's going to turn out at first, but my body's ready for that anyway. But it's time to talk about what we're gonna miss the most. The things we enjoyed so much, and now they're not gonna be there anymore, or even things we might not have gotten a chance to use. I'm gonna let Tom take the lead on this one.
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna take the lead in a way that may surprise some besides Jay, because I don't know that. This is a piece that I've played a ton of, but I liked it so much every time I did play it that I'm really going to miss it. And that's Ma Hunkel Red Tornado. It's a 45-point JSA piece who's just she's got everything you want. She's got an 18 defend and support, so she's an awesome little support piece, but she's also got the cool power where she can sidestep forward and take an action to pull everybody into an adjacent square to her. And there are various different applications. I guess it's double power technically. And there are various different applications of why that is cool. It's great for pulling people out and poofing your ID cards. It's great for getting a little bit of extra swing from the rest of your characters that can help close the gap when they need it. I love an 18 defend at any given time, and the support is always appreciated. She also combines that with JSA and not a bad little simpler time trait, so that if you happen to be playing wild cards or JSA figures, then it's just a bonus. I don't have a lot more to say because I don't think there's anything about Ma Hunkel that really goes above and beyond, but she's just such a great little piece, and every time I had her on a team, I was so happy that she was there that I'm really going to miss that feeling. So, goodbye, Ma.
All right. Mike?
Well, I'll start with the one that won't be a surprise, and Tom already mentioned, of course. Unseen. I love that figure the second that they previewed that figure. I love that figure as soon as I pulled 4 of them, I think is what I ended up pulling eventually.
Fate was telling you, use the Unseen.
Right? That was it. It just kept giving it to me. I loved him even more when PJ said he sucked. I don't know what to tell you. I love Unseen. He's played well for me. He's got me out of a jam a million times. Finding the love of putting Beetle Pod on Unseen and the wonderful world that opened up for me was just magical. I can't say enough for that guy, especially on the Wakanda map with the re-roll of Super Senses. Just love Unseen. I don't know what I'm going to do without you, buddy. You've outwitted so many things for me, and I miss you, buddy.
All right.
And PJ, you're wrong. You're so wrong. You've never been more wrong in your life.
Jay?
I just realized I was looking through. I'm going to do the... this is going to be a twofer because it's kind of the same figure-ish, similar enough. So I originally had Trelane on the list just because I like any Fringe article figure because I did an article about him. Huh?
Nothing. Carry on.
I like any Fringe article figure that wins a Worlds. And I feel like he was just the right amount of dice replacement. Like, he did enough, but also it was like a power action to refill after, whatever. But also, because I was looking through a certain set, and I saw a Tom figure, and reminded me that Charlie X was totally a thing that I wish I played more.
He's an honorable mention for me.
That's fair. But yeah, for both of them, just a cosmic prob, good stuff, not easy to deal with. They do very different things, but just have some fun, sentimental feelings about Charlie X.
Yeah, both fun, interesting, cool super rares from the Star Trek set. So
weren't they the whole Star Trek set? I thought that was like that.
Yeah, well, there's Tribbles. Tribbles almost made my list too.
Tribbles, Kirk, Charlie X, and Trelane. That was the whole set.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's not bad. For a lot of sets, that's what it is.
For a micro set, yeah, that's not the worst.
Unfortunately, I'm not with everybody on their hatred of this character or their tiredness of this character. I used him at more than just his 10-point dial. In fact, I made fair use of Carnage at 100 points. So
He was on my top 5. Back
yeah.
when we were doing 5, he was one of mine.
Yeah. I am going to miss Carnage. I'm going to miss some of the teams I came up with the 100-point dial, with the Colossal Retaliation, followed by some Flurry, to make a whole bunch of symbiote guys and do a bunch of damage, and you're stuck in plasticity, so deal with that. I liked it. It was fun for me when it worked. It didn't always work, but yeah, Carnage is definitely up there for a figure I'm going to miss the most. So in our second round, Mike, you have the lead on that. Brace yourself.
Well, it's also been mentioned already by you guys in the happy to see it go, but sorry, it's in my wheelhouse of loving. In fact, when this figure first came out, I went and got a second one right away, and actually played 2 of them for a while to some success, and that's Groot. I love Groot. Obviously, for all the reasons why you guys hated him, he fits on a team nice and easy at 20 points. He brings leadership to Cosmic. He brings leadership to Monster. He generates these great little bystanders that are annoying as hell. In fact, I successfully had 3 Walking Woods kill a Lockjaw in 1 turn by managing to roll Flurry successfully, all those 6 attacks. So
seems pretty balanced for a 20-point figure.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Boy, sorry.
20-point character should attack 6 times in a turn.
We're talking about a 0-point bystander. Let's be fair.
Get out! You're on the wrong list.
So, but I again, there were so many times that I was building with the keywords that he had, and I was like, man, I need leadership on this team to do all the stuff we have. And again, a lot of that was connected to the ID world, where you kind of always needed 4 actions, because you always had to have that one action laying around for the actual attack of the person you're calling in or whatever it is. So Groot was perfect for that, coming in, filling in that spot, giving you things like that. And in fact, he's another figure that Mojo's going to miss, because what a great way to get board tokens than have your Walking Woods do a bunch of whiffas. So I'm going to miss you, Groot.
All right.
Well, the problem with Groot is that he just turned... Is there a word beyond staple? Like, I don't know. I was sick of seeing it on every single
He did.
Ubiquitous would be the word I would use.
It was wrong to not play him, and then if everybody's playing it anyway, like, I don't see the point.
He became like ID cards.
Yeah, we mentioned this in our chat that for me, he's not on either one of my teams because he's right in the middle of the needle's right in the middle for me. I'm as sad to see him go for my purposes as I'm happy to see him go for seeing him across the table. So.
All right, Jay.
What are we at, 2?
You're on your second one.
This figure is one that I feel like I wish had one more rotation, because he has a trait that is just absolutely perfect for what I feel is going to be the best figure after rotation, which is Jason Wingard. So the trait is Captain America can't be targeted by mind control or knocked back. Friendly characters modify their defense value by +2 and targeted by mind control. And they just printed Sharon Carter, who will make his super amazing, awesome leadership turn into a 4 through 6. And if we're in Pog World, yeah. He never was really a thing that I recall, but I have been looking at him, and just the fact that I never really got... It was never really there, and I mean, it's not too late, because obviously this figure isn't retiring until July, but yeah, that shield keyword came in just a little bit too late, and that retirement just a little bit too early, because Jason's going to be everywhere.
Can we refer to him by full name again, guys, please?
So Jason's not going to be at the top tables? Okay, so Jason Wingard is going to be at the top.
We've discussed this.
That's why I was confused.
Am I going to be at the top tables? What?
Once you say Jason,
what's about to happen to me.
Once you say Jason's going to be successful, that's when it got confusing.
I know better than that. Come on now.
Zing.
Tom?
Well, no word of a lie. My number 2 is also EarthX Cap. For many of the reasons that Jay elucidated, in addition to the fact that I just love the EarthX keyword. So I'm very sorry to see any EarthX go, let alone a really playable, viable one. two of my favorite pieces in the game, being the Skull and Daredevil, are both Earth X, and that's a great start to any great team. Maybe less so after retirement, not only for the lack of ID cards, but also for the lack of Cap. But yeah, Cap is great, but he's great for more than just Earth X, as Jay has already pointed out. He's great for a lot of reasons, and I don't feel the need to drag down or extend the conversation by reiterating. I will just say that he is a piece that I, too, will be very sorry to see go, even if I don't technically own him myself.
All right. My next one was on the same team as Carnage. I'm going to miss you, Dr. Frankenstein. You made my monsters monstrous. He was there when the Goblin King was still around. He was there after the Goblin King left. He's been a part of my monster package for a long time, and I've really enjoyed it. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Mike almost died muted, and I still got it. I was hoping somebody would catch that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to react too strongly because it's supposed to be family
I would get
friendly.
two of them, and I'd double up on my monster package.
Oh, God.
And, I can't tell you
man.
how many Colossal Retaliators my Dr. Frankensteins have surprised people by killing because of that 6 range, 2 damage.
6 range.
You almost called it by Johnson, didn't you?
I did almost call it that, just to nail it home for you.
Yeah.
Just to get you from behind. So yeah, my second one is Dr. Frankenstein. I got a lot of gas out of that guy, and I really like him a lot. Jay, what's your next? What's your third pick?
It's funny because when I was thinking about how to introduce this figure, it reminded me that we didn't do the Happy Little Heroclix previews.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was going to refer to it as my Happy Little Tree. Because,
Aww.
I mean, I've been married to Cosmic since it became a thing, really. Like, I don't remember playing much around when Unimind first came out.
You're not.
What? I'm going to miss the Flora. Leave me alone.
Oh.
Of course he is. You see how many Flora he has?
I know.
Annoying.
At this point, if I am building